How is everyone doing today? It's Josh. We got another reaction for you today. We are reacting to a Mark Rober video. We got Can You Fool a Self-Driving Car? This one just came out a few days ago on this. A little backstory. Yes, I have seen a handful of Mark Rober videos in the past. This is not my first one of his. I like his stuff. He's got some fun videos. He's one of those more popular YouTubers out there, obviously, but I really like his Squirrel Olympics ones that he's done in the past and things like that. Those are always really cute. So I'm looking forward to this one. This one looks like it's a little more, a little more political these days, that's for sure. So we'll see what he does in this one. We'll get right into that in a second. But before we get going, just remember, if you did like the video at the end, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe down below. And consider subscribing to my Patreon if you want to see more content like this in the future. With all that said, let's get on into it.
I'm in my Tesla on autopilot going 40 miles an hour towards a fake Wile E. Coyote Roadrunner painted wall.
Okay.
Please stop.
That's cool.
Please stop. Holy. And I'm doing this to see if Tesla's autopilot can be tricked, because it famously only relies on simple cameras to navigate the world, as opposed to much more expensive tech. In fact, we're out here today to run a bunch of tests in extreme conditions to see how those simple cameras on a Tesla stack up.
Okay, this is a cool concept. I like this.
That use more advanced technology. Wow! And
it's cool that you can do a concept like this when you actually got some money and you're willing to do like this sort of thing.
At Disneyland, as I was sneaking onto the famously pitch black ride called Space Mountain.
Yep.
And while I might look a little
dude, Space Mountain is
as you can see from this
not great.
Camera shot, that's no ordinary jacket, because it's
I'm gonna be real with you.
That fancy
it really is not a fantastic ride.
43 million
it is very jerky and is very old, and it needs
unlike
a big refurbishment.
Ride like Colossus, Space Mountain is in near total darkness, meaning no one knows what the ride actually looks like, which, as far as I'm concerned, needed to be fixed with a special.
Also, that's not true. There's been plenty of videos that have come out with the lights on, and it looks terrifying with the lights on.
20 years, way before I had a YouTube channel, because I would come to Disneyland and just be like, someday the technology will be there, so we could map out what Space Mountain actually looks like. So this is a very big moment for me. Now, it's common knowledge, every good undercover operation worth its salt needs a 3-step plan.
Yes,
for me, step 1 would just be getting into Disneyland with my tech through their famously tight security.
Yeah,
if I managed to do that,
makes sense.
Step 2 would be making it through the park, avoiding any security guards on my way to
watch
Space
out for
Mountain.
Buzz.
And finally, for step 3, I would need to sneak onto the ride
would need to get onto the ride in under an hour. Good luck.
Come true. And if all this seems like overkill,
get that fast.
I have a bit of history getting kicked out of amusement parks in the name of science.
Follow you, man. Why are you doing this to me?
For step 1, I took an oversized jacket and made a little pocket inside where I could hide my secret tech inside it. It's like the slight limp shuffle walk that really sells it, I think.
What the fuck?
Because they make you walk through metal detectors,
I didn't know they were so picky at Disney about this.
I placed my device with a bunch of gear in my camera bag.
Because most places don't care. I've seen so many videos of people, you know, videoing a ride.
Wait till your eye gets fully screened in case you have an item that's not supposed to be here.
And even though this moment of truth was terrifying, I knew I just needed to play it cool. Like that.
Excuse me, can you not record the...
And the security was, in fact, extremely tight. But our alibi was tighter.
All right, we're in. 1 down, 2 to go.
Hell yeah.
Inside, I immediately made my way to a bathroom to properly suit up. Now I just had to make it all the way over to Space
You can't film in the bathroom. You're gonna get Dr. Disrespect. Oh, well.
Which
he
is
has
a
other
lot
issues these days.
you might think, because it's a well-kept secret. Disney employs a bunch of security officers dressed up in plain clothes as normal park goers, so I could trust no one. So in an attempt to blend in and look like a normal park goer, I took a
Disney be
corn dog
crazy.
break. I'm doing this for the integrity of the mission.
Yeah, oh man. Dude, corn dogs are so fucking good. I haven't had a corn dog in years.
I had made it inside the building. All right, 2 down, now for the hard part.
Last corn dog I had, I got it at the state fair, and I immediately got ketchup over my fucking jeans, and then I had to make... I went to a fucking concert right afterwards, and I had a mess all over my jeans. I hated it. What a sad experience.
Now, as for the legality of this, if you check the back of your ticket, it says you have to obey all the park rules. And if you check their website for the rules on forbidden items, it says you can't bring in shoes with wheels, or stun guns, or cremated remains.
Oh.
Ew. But you'll notice the forbidden items list makes no mention of chest-mounted LiDAR scanners.
Oh,
so
loophole.
I'm not breaking any laws by precisely mapping out this entire ride down to the nearest half inch. Don't blow
Is it still called Space Mountain, or isn't it called Hyperspace Mountain now?
The last of the ride security, I was
Or did they
in place. And this
call
is
it
probably
back
a good
to
time
Space
to point
Mountain?
out that the final boss here
Well,
in
also
the
there's
control
two
room,
of them.
watching all the infrared scenes
So I think maybe one of them might be, and the other one
was the
isn't?
one I was most afraid would shut down the whole operation. Because when we tested this out to see how inconspicuous the LiDAR would be, as you can see here, not very, as it lights up the whole place like a Christmas tree. By the way, you should know LiDAR stands for light detection and ranging, whereas radar is radio detection and ranging. Basically, it's like having a bunch of laser pointers inside this shell shooting all around the room. And each time you fire one of them, you then see how long it takes for you to see it hit the object.
Like a radar, like a sonar or something.
We know the speed of light. If we measure that time, it will tell us how far away the object
sense to me.
is. For example, it will take twice as long to detect the laser point on an object that's 20 feet away, as opposed to an object that's 10 feet away. But how could the sensor possibly keep track of 640,000 laser pulses firing all out at once? Well, it turns out, amazingly, they actually happen one after another. So the sensor only has to keep track of one pulse at a time. And this works because the speed of light is so fast, in fact, if you slow time way down, so the time it takes a laser to hit an object is 4 slow-mo seconds, then you can wait 30 minutes on that slow-mo time scale before sending the next pulse. So it's actually really easy for the sensor to know exactly which laser pulse it's measuring, even if that happens 640,000 times in a single second. And with that, it was time for the execution phase of Secret Undercover Operation Mousetrap.
Let's go!
It felt so good to cross off a 30-year-old bucket.
I would only hope that the person sitting next to him is someone he actually knows. Because otherwise, that's gotta be really weird.
Our exact cart pulled back into the station, they stopped the ride and announced it was being locked down.
All flights have been put in a holding pattern.
Stopped the ride.
Oh no.
And I was about to have an unscheduled appointment with a bunch of dudes with muscles much bigger than
no. Oh no.
But as it turns out, it was an unrelated power issue.
Oh
shit! This was a mission accomplished.
That's like a dream come true.
Holy shit, he did it!
YouTube channel, I wanted to do that.
And the only critical oversight of the whole operation was forgetting they took those dumb keychain photos at the end of the ride, leaving behind some very incriminating evidence at the scene.
That's awesome.
That's so awesome.
That's Harrison, by the way, and he started the company that makes these super small
that's so
portable
cool.
LiDARs. So after mapping out a few more rides like Haunted Mansion, let's go.
He's like, fuck it, I already did one, let's just do all the other ones.
We headed home so Harrison could process all the data. And a few days later, he did not disappoint.
This is from the LiDAR you were wearing on your chest.
Get out of here.
All of this is totally in the dark.
Now what's really cool is we could visualize what was recorded
this is
as
cool.
the ride progresses. And so as you can see here, you get a sense of what the LiDAR was seeing in real time as the ride progressed on. But what's even cooler though is we can now use that data to make an actual tabletop 3D model of Space Mountain with the help of our army of 3D printers, which meant for the first time
This
ever,
is gonna look awesome.
Mark's days were numbered.
Yeah, get flamethrowered.
Got it. So while all the 3D printers were hard at work, we also reviewed the data we captured from the Haunted Mansion ride, where we made two super interesting discoveries. The first is that the initial room they take you in is really just a fancy elevator so they can get you underground to transport you
I think
to
everyone
the
kind of
real
already knew
ride,
that.
which actually isn't in this house at all, because when you go down this hallway, you're walking under this hill you see here. So by the time you load onto the ride, you're totally outside the park. But if that's true, there should be some evidence for this besides our scan. And sure enough, there is. Because if you look back at this shot of the hill, you can actually see just the corner of some kind of large building. And if you check that answer,
and it's in go away green, so you don't even notice it.
Massive above ground warehouse where the ride actually takes place that matches up perfectly with our LiDAR scan, which is just super clever engineering by the super talented Disney Imagineers. And the second discovery is they use a lot of super thin, nearly invisible curtains they project on that create a lot of the illusions like these flying ghosts. And while your eye might get fooled, as you can see here,
it's a really cool ride
from the LiDAR scan.
Their Disney Imagineers or whatever video that they did on the Haunted Mansion years ago was like a really sick way that they did it, and how they did they remade what's her name, Madame Griselda or whatever, with the daughter of the original person that voiced her, which is really cool.
In cars. And as you might have guessed, this car automatically saved itself from crashing because it uses a LiDAR sensor, which, as you can imagine, would have saved Wile E. Coyote a lot of pain over the years.
Yeah, why didn't he have one?
And the reason it works so well is because it's updating that point cloud of
Come on, Wiley.
640,000 laser measurements
Does Acme not have a
every
LiDAR
second to the
sensor?
brain of this car, showing exactly what's in front of it. In fact, it works so well, as you can see here, I can maneuver all around these obstacles in real time with all the windows blacked out, looking just at that point cloud in a VR headset.
Okay, easy bike guy.
My Tesla on autopilot, however, only relies on simple cameras and its image processing to navigate.
Boo,
see if that tech is
cameras.
just too
Cameras
simple,
suck.
Came up with a 6-part LiDAR
Fuck you,
versus
camera.
camera head-to-head face-off, culminating in a history-making first Tesla versus cartoon physics test. Okay, so we're starting out with a car with the LiDAR. First test is just kids standing in the road. Not sure why he's doing that. It's very unsafe, so we want to be extra
probably should be doing that, kid.
Hit it.
The testing speed was 40 miles an hour. Should have put my seatbelt on, which meant
What
the
the hell?
LiDAR would have to detect the kid and then slam on the brakes at least 60 feet in front of him. And it turned out, that's all it needed.
Nice.
Now it was Tesla's turn.
This is a terrible feeling driving straight at a kid, but this is for science. All right, we are up to speed.
And with just simple cameras, the Tesla was speeding fast,
Oh no.
but did detect the kid. Ooh, just not in time to fully hit the brakes.
Wow.
No, he was even a
Sick.
Crunch Labs fan.
Good job, Elon. You
Now,
did
if you're a
it.
Tesla owner, there is a silver lining because we were relying on the automatic emergency braking system to stop for the car. And because it assumes the driver's paying full attention while fully driving the car, it only hits the brakes when it's 100% sure there's a problem in order to avoid false positives. So the alternative is to use autopilot, and that assumes the driver isn't paying much attention.
Okay.
And while the downside is you get way more phantom braking and false positives,
Oh, that was ridiculous.
the upside is you're less likely to be charged with vehicular manslaughter because you can see here on
Okay,
autopilot
interesting.
it actually stopped in time.
Okay,
so I
that's
decided
interesting.
to be nice and call the score 1-1, and then I'd be
Ah,
even
fair enough.
nicer by
That
using
makes
the
sense.
more conservative autopilot on the Tesla for all the remaining tests, such as this one where we would now
Sounds
simulate
like,
the kid
yeah, it
dashing
just
out
needs a
from
lot
behind
more
a parked
fucking work
car using
because it's just
clever
like a
engineering,
half-assed
giving the
program.
cars less than
Sounds
a
like
second to
every company
identify the
ever
mannequin
nowadays,
and stop
it
themselves.
releases
Here we go, getting
its
up to
program
speed.
without being even remotely close to
a ball
done.
came out. I wonder why that happened. Oh, kid! Another life saved.
Dude, this
That
LiDAR
was the
seems
Tesla's
sick as
turn
hell.
on autopilot.
It's working
40
very
miles an
fast.
hour. There goes the ball.
And
kid's-
impressively, it stopped with plenty of room to spare.
Okay.
Good job, Tesla.
I thought it was
Which
gonna
meant
get
we were
smoked.
all tied up heading into round 3.
Okay,
the
okay,
fog
okay.
round. Optically, with my own eyes, I can no longer see that there's a kid through this fog. The LiDAR has no issue. This will be interesting.
Okay, here we go. Oh, wall of fog.
This guy's so
Punched
confident.
through
The driver's
fog,
like,
leading to a very sudden break.
ain't no problem. Ain't no problem at
After which we saw
all.
the mannequin was not only still standing, but it was casting a really cool long shadow because the lasers don't pass through solid objects, just like how you can cast a long shadow with the sun
Yeah.
because light doesn't pass through solid objects.
Sure.
I don't have high hopes
Makes
here.
sense.
But would the kid look just as cool after the Tesla test?
Oh, fudge!
We didn't even slow down.
I mean, slow-mo does make everything look sort of cool, but that wasn't the only shot.
I actually hit the brakes there.
That was on autopilot?
The cameras didn't even hit the brakes at all. The only thing still on is the
Yikes.
pants. That was a bad one.
And now the LiDAR had
Yikes.
taken another
That's an
W.
L.
Time to
Big
make
L.
it rain!
The next test would see if the cars could spot the kid under a torrential downpour made up of maybe
Okay,
too
if
much
the rain is ever raining, if
This
it's
is
ever raining
really
that hard, you
interesting.
probably
See, the
shouldn't be
Tesla
driving at
can
all.
See the kid, but as soon as it starts raining,
Just a thought.
the kid is gone.
And it was similar in the LiDAR car, where you first got a clear image of the kid and the shadow. And once we started the hose, oh, you see all the water going in.
LiDAR might struggle
Ooh,
here. Okay, here we
interesting.
Go.
And as the wall of water started, LiDAR seemed to not slow down at all. Until the last possible second.
Another W. Now I just
Okay.
need the rain to stop. You know any good rain dances? Just back up. Oh, that's actually a good idea.
Now the LiDAR had surprised me. It was time to see if Tesla could as well.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Well done.
And
You've
sadly,
nailed it.
It did not.
Good job,
And though
Tesla.
I did everything I could.
Another W for your company these days.
So it was on to the penultimate round 5, where we had 6 of the brightest lights that money could buy simulate either sunset or sunrise, or a truck in the road having its bright lights on.
Yeah.
With these lights,
No, this is a pretty realistic test.
from detecting the kid.
These are really good tests, honestly. Like this
LiDAR
is
could immediately
very.
see much more
Besides
than my
the
eyes.
amount of rain in the
Lights
last
turned
one, these are some
on.
realistic
That's a
conditions.
bright light.
Question remained if it would see the kid.
Come on, LiDAR.
Oh! And it did it, no problem.
Just always waits to the last minute. It gets me every time. That's very bright. Time to be blinded by the light.
Blinded by the light.
And it's true, these lights were so bright,
Well,
I
I'm
wouldn't
like
have
a
seen this kid on my
little
own. And at
runner
this
in the
point, I
night.
really doubted that the Tesla could either. But when it pulled to a stop,
Oh, it actually did it.
Okay, we stopped
Wow.
for the kid with the bright light. A
Holy
W
shit,
for
a single
the
W.
Tesla.
and that W meant these
Wow.
were the scores headed into the painted brick wall ultimate
Dude,
grand
this
finale.
is-
Scientific
this is
papers
gonna
had
be
actually
interesting.
been written on this exact scenario, debating theoretically what the Tesla would do. But we were here once and for all to silence all the debates with cold hard data. All right, so LiDAR
I'm
is
excited, I'm
perfect,
excited.
and Tesla is
I have a
fine.
feeling-
As far as I'm concerned at this point, this
I
one's
think it's
the only
fucked.
one that matters.
I think it's gonna hit it.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe we're gonna do this. All right, hit it.
Now, as you can see, as a
The
human
LiDAR
driver,
seems
while
fine
that
because
looks
it's
sort
like
of
like you said, it's like a
confusing,
radar, so it is
processing in our
bouncing off of
brains
the
is
site,
advanced
the
enough that we
thing,
pick
so
up
it will
on
absolutely be
minor
able to
visual
tell. Doesn't matter what the
inconsistencies, and
visuals
we
are.
wouldn't hit it. And as for the LiDAR, it isn't looking at what
Yeah.
image is printed on the wall. So this sort of just looks like a wall, which would make this the easiest test of the day. And as I suspected,
Yeah. No problemo.
handled it with no problem. So the question was, would the Tesla
The
detect
blowing
and
on
stop
the
for this Wile E. Coyote
thing, yeah,
style
so they need to
painted
do it with
wall
no
that was
wind.
hiding yet another child staring
Or as
at
little as
nothing
possible.
during what might be his last minutes on Earth.
The one way to test that hypothesis.
I'd assume these are not real bricks.
I was actually supposed to go, but I chickened out. Oh. The car may not know it's a wall, but I know it's a wall. Everything in your body says,
Come on, you got this, Mark.
don't drive into a wall.
No, you got this. It's fine. It's just a wall.
Here we go.
And so I steeled myself and accelerated the Tesla
Come on.
to the 40 miles an hour.
You got this.
And as the wall crept closer,
He's
and
like, I don't wanna
closer
go any
without
faster than
moving
40.
an inch,
Holy
the
crap.
question was if the Tesla would detect it in time to step on the brakes. And it turned out. Holy
Damn.
So
That
I
kid
can
smoked.
definitively say for the first time in the history of the world, Tesla's optical camera system would absolutely smash through a fake wall.
That's
without
fucking
even
hilarious.
A slight tap on the brakes.
My heart is gonna beat out of my chest. Turns out my Tesla's more
Oh my
Wile E.
God.
Coyote and less Roadrunner. Sorry, little fella. Looks like we lost 2 arms and a head. Not sure that's salvageable.
That's fucking
I
awesome.
might Uber home.
But that's not all, folks, because while LiDAR proved itself the superior
I see what
car
you did there, Mark.
technology, could it actually deliver on the dream of 14-year-old Mark Rober and map out Space Mountain well enough for me to make a scaled 3D
let's see how good it is.
model? And after 30 years of waiting, I'm happy to report, for
Ooh.
the first time ever, this is what the Space Mountain
Ooh.
track actually looks like.
That's really cool.
This is so cool. Oh, there's me. There's me, little backwards hat.
Nah, this is really cool.
Every single
This
one
wasn't even
these
part of the
turns.
video or like a
Right
point of the video, and yet it was
Come
still like
down,
a nice little bonus cherry
and
on
it's
top.
all the
I
right
appreciate it,
turns,
Mark.
Right turns, right turns. Right here is where they take your picture. This is wild. 14-year-old me would be so proud right now. This is it. Space Mountain has
Oh,
been
first
revealed.
person?
And thanks to
Let's
Harrison's
go.
mapping technology, this means you can now actually see what it would look like to ride Space Mountain with all the lights on in Crunch Labs, even if at this size, you'd be way below the ride's 5-foot minimum height requirement. And all of this is why I love being an engineer. You get to shape the future, potentially save a bunch of lives, and accomplish even the most ridiculous 30-year life goals.
He actually bought the picture. That's awesome. Oh, that's cool. So yeah, we learned a few things from that video now, didn't we? Oh man, Tesla is just taking L after L these days, and I am all for it because yeah, country's kind of going to shit. That's kind of hard to hide that from anyone, but yeah. Good shit. Good job, Mark. Good job having some balls on you and actually making a video like this because a lot of people would not. So I appreciate the chutzpah he's got behind him on that. Well, that was fun. If you guys like that video, though, make sure you hit the like, comment, subscribe down below, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.